Hey everyone, welcome back. Hope you're all doing well. First off, on behalf of Jax and myself, I'd like to thank you all for tuning in over the past couple of months while we completed 8 live presentations of Amber Heard's 2016 deposition. We really appreciate all the comments and conversation. Those replays are all in a playlist on this channel, so feel free to check them out if you haven't already. And also, if you want, you can like, subscribe, and comment while you're here for updates and content as the channel continues to grow and evolve. As promised, I said I'd be releasing volumes made up of 2 parts each with no pauses or commentary. I want to apologize for the delay in releasing Volume 3. A couple of reasons for that. 1, Jax and I both took a little breather after the Part 8 finale, but are now gearing up for more unseen content, including the video deposition of Amber's then best friend Raquel Pennington. And 2, I was dealing with work, and I mean a lot of work. Plus, I got hit with a copyright claim for content in our Part 6 presentation. This copyright coming from Discovery Plus just days before the release of their latest documentary, but that has since been taken care of. So with all that said, here's Volume 3. In it, you'll see things like Amber continuing to be questioned about the poop in the bed incident, which leads directly into the May 21st, 2016 incident when she claims Johnny Depp assaulted her and threw a phone at her face. That incident having been covered on this channel by me in these 3 videos from years ago, and also on Jax's channel in a long, in-depth look. I would recommend watching those, and we'll link them in the description below. So without further ado, let's get going.
This marks the beginning of media number 3 in the video deposition of Amber Depp. The time is approximately 3:18 p.m. We're back on the record.
Thank you. So, Ms. Heard, we were just leaving off at when Johnny arrived, having sent him a text prior to his arrival, indicating, "Hey, baby, bring up something to drink and/or a joint. I'm in if you are." When Mr. Depp arrived, did he in fact have a joint, to your knowledge?
I believe so.
Okay.
But I can't be 100% certain. I guess I shouldn't guess, huh?
Don't guess.
Do you have any recollection as you sit here what happened to the joint, if he in fact had it?
No, nothing specific.
Did he
just these days he's, I don't know if I can remember a single time when he didn't have a joint in his hand when he walked in a room. I mean, I'm saying about 99% of the time.
But you have no specific memory that he had a joint with him when he arrived on April 21, 2016, is that correct?
Can't be 100% certain.
Okay. And did he have a bottle of wine in his arms or hands?
I'm not quite sure.
Okay. And this text you sent him prior to his arrival, the "Hey Baby," we'll refer to it as the "Hey Baby" text, you say that you no longer have this text because your phone was destroyed, correct?
It was destroyed that night when he threw it out of the window and it smashed, and it was never recovered.
Okay. And you said you threw his phone out, but you immediately retrieved it. Is that true?
His phone was protected significantly. And after he threw mine out of the window, I threw his out of the window immediately after. And his wasn't immediately recovered. It was recovered that night because
Okay.
I tracked it. We used Find My iPhone.
How quickly was it recovered, Ms. Heard?
Probably within a matter of hours, max. I'd say a matter of hours.
Okay. Isn't it true, Ms. Heard, that someone in fact stole Mr. Depp's phone from where they found it?
I'm not sure how it wound up where it wound up, but we did track my iPhone and we could see it move, and was eventually, I tracked it down to a liquor store and asked his security guards to go and get it from this liquor store. And from what I understand, they confronted someone that was at the liquor store with his card.
Okay. And as for your phone that you say was smashed,
Never recovered.
okay, how do you know it was smashed?
Because it was thrown out of a 14th floor window.
Okay, but you never saw it smashed, is that true?
That's true.
Okay. And you, after that fact, you couldn't recover any of the text messages on your phone, correct?
Exactly.
Okay.
Nothing that was localized to that device and had not been backed up.
Okay. And that would be for any text messages from April 21 through what date that you were unable to recover?
Sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt.
That's right. From April 21 prior to what date were you unable to recover text?
The date of the last successful backup.
And what was that?
I don't know.
Okay.
My computer, I back it up onto a computer. I sync my phone to my computer, but my computer had run out of space. And so for many months, I was unable to back up my phone.
Okay.
I had no device to which I could back it up.
In relation to these proceedings, Ms. Hurd, have you at any time made any attempt to determine what texts, in fact, sent or received prior to April 21 were recoverable?
I am not sure I understand what you are asking.
Have you made any efforts relating to these proceedings to determine prior to April 21, 2016, which of your texts sent or received on that device are recoverable?
It's vague and ambiguous. She doesn't have the device. Never found it.
Everything that was localized onto that device was lost.
Okay. And that is text lost from April 21, any text sent or received prior to that date, correct?
Wait, it assumes facts not in evidence. It calls for speculation. And vague and ambiguous is to the word any.
Ms. Hurd, did you undertake any efforts relating to this case to determine for that device whether you could locate and identify any texts you sent or received that were still available prior to the date of April 21 and relating to these matters?
No, nothing. You cannot. Anything localized to this device was lost because it would have been localized to that device. Anything that was up until the latest backup.
Okay.
So when my computer ran out of capacity to save a phone backup, I was no longer able to save the information on that phone.
When did your computer run out of capacity?
I don't know the exact date. It was probably a few months before that. So I lost months of information.
Okay. Did you lose 1 month?
I'm sure it was over a month.
Did you lose 2 months?
I don't know when my computer started running out of space.
Okay. And related to these proceedings, did you make any attempt to find out when it ran out of space?
No.
And did you make any attempt to locate texts prior to April 21?
Yes.
What did you do?
I looked and saw when was the last successful I looked into old backups, mostly to see when I got a new cell phone, what would be the most recent backup onto that phone. So I was curious as to how old my information that was going to be put onto my new phone was going to be. I ended up having a very hard time getting a new phone established because no one on Johnny's side would give me any of our cell plan info, and I didn't know I had been added to the family plan, so I had no ability to, when I finally got that information, I had no ability to activate a new phone, and so I had to get a new phone and start over from scratch.
And when you say nobody from Johnny's side would give me that cell phone info, could you tell me specifically what you attempted to do? And
I tried to activate a new phone, and I tried to do it through the carrier, AT&T, I believe it is.
Okay.
Because when you get a new phone from Apple or wherever, and forgive me, I'm not so tech savvy, but I think you have to activate a phone. You have to provide some reference to your account. I didn't even know what name the account was under.
Okay. And in those efforts to determine what you said you had curiosity about, what did you determine was the last backup that was made?
What did I have curiosity? Sorry, what did you say I had curiosity about?
You said you undertook efforts because you had curiosity as to that you wanted to determine when the last backup had been
how
made.
old?
Yes. What did you determine?
I think I don't remember exactly, but I think it was that I didn't have a backup that was recent enough to make it worth putting on my cell phone. It was better to start over, as opposed to resetting. I'm sorry, I don't know how these things really work. I'm doing the best I can to answer your questions.
Okay, and did you make any efforts at any time relating to these proceedings to determine if you had text messages in April of 2016 prior to the 21st in any way relating to these matters?
Can you be more specific so I understand what you're asking me?
Did you ever at any time look for texts between April 1st and April 21 relating to these matters?
Between April 1st and April 21 relating to these matters. So for the entire month of April?
Correct. Except for 1 week. Between April 1 and April 21.
I'm so sorry. I'm not quite sure I understand. Are you asking me if I specifically made any efforts to look for text messages that were lost prior to him throwing the phone out of the window?
I'm asking you if you have made any efforts to look for text messages that still exist so that you could produce them here.
Everything that was prior to April 21st has been lost that was localized on that phone.
And when you say localized on that phone, what do you mean, Ms. Hurd?
I mean on that phone and unable to be saved anywhere else because of lack of being able to back it up onto my computer, to sync it.
The phone you were using April 21, was it the same phone you were using on April 1?
It might have been. I broke a phone previously. I don't know when the phone prior to that was broken. I've gone through a lot of phones. I have very bad luck with breaking cell phones. And because my computer was maxed out of space, it was frustrating because I couldn't back up my phones.
Is the phone you had on April 21 the same phone you had on March 1?
I don't know. I don't know if I had smashed a phone in that month. Honestly, I couldn't tell you.
Did you, in fact, produce in response to a subpoena ducis tecum text messages from March 12, 2013 here today?
Did I bring them?
Yes, did you produce them? Not whether you brought them, did you give them over to be produced today?
Well, again, if you're talking about handing things to attorneys, we've established that we're asserting the privilege on that.
Will you answer my question, Ms. Hurd?
If the question is if it's in the stack that we gave you, you'll have to show us the stack.
Yeah, please show me I can tell you if it is.
Okay, we had asked you to review the documents produced during the lunch hour. Did
Well,
anyone?
She said she had lunch.
No. Let me just say, the lunch hour, which was actually 50 minutes, was a chance for her to take a break. Looking through 2 inches of evidence of her being abused is not exactly a break. So she wasn't inclined to use her break time for that purpose. So if you would like to give her a stack to look at, she's happy to do so and answer your question.
2 more questions related to these texts. Ms. Hurd, showing you what will be marked as Respondents M. Did you ever provide this text from March 12, 2013 to be produced in these proceedings?
And if you had exchanges with counsel, we've established that that's privileged, and we would instruct you not to answer on that basis. If you gave it to some non-attorney, then that's different.
I didn't give it to any non-attorney. I gave it to you guys.
We'll discuss it.
Do you understand the privilege?
Not really, but
Okay, I'm gonna move to strike that answer. Claw back. let's take a short break. I want to advise her of how privilege works.
That's fine. I would, yeah.
Well, I'm not going to go do legal research. I'm going to take 3 minutes.
We're going off the record. Time is approximately 3:39 p.m. We're back on the record.
Thank you. Ms. Hurd, did you bring with you today all of your computer devices?
No.
Okay. Did you bring with you today your any and all cell phones that you had on April 21 or May 21 of this year?
No, I did not.
Did you bring any cell phones that you had at any time in 2016 here today?
No.
Did you bring any laptop computers that you had at any time in 2016 here today?
I don't think so.
Did you bring any smartphones with you here today that you had during 2016?
No.
Is that no?
No. Not that I'm aware of.
Did you bring here with you today any electronic devices of any kind that were used by you or owned by you or accessible by you to communicate with any other person by voice message, email, or text message? Did you bring any of those with you here today? Okay. I'd like to just state for the record that Ms. Hurd, through her attorneys, was served on June 24 and again on June 20th with deposition notices and subpoena duces tecum, specifically requesting the items in Section P just articulated. No objection, Ms. Hurd, for the record, was made to you producing these items by your counsel. So I just want you to know that objection has been waived.
Well,
That's incorrect. An objection was mailed to Ms. Wasser's office. I can get you the exact date.
I never received any.
No question
It's
for
a
you.
job that I have.
Wait for a question to be
I served an
asked of you.
objection. So there were objections that were made, written objections that were made, yes. Excuse me, I have been summoned out of the room. I'll return. So that's not correct. Okay.
Ms. Hurd, just to make clear for the record, your counsel's position here relating to your production of these items I've identified is that anything produced in response to any deposition subpoena in this case is privileged. Are you aware of that?
Wait, Nate, don't answer. Privileged.
Referring you specifically to Exhibit H. You still have that?
H, you said?
Yes, H. It's identified as a deposition notice. For the served on June 24th and July 20, no objections posed by your counsel, correct? Have you had a chance to look at those documents?
What's the question?
Have you had a chance to look at those documents?
Which documents?
Marked as Exhibit H.
I have not read this yet.
Okay. Do you need time to look at them?
Would you like me to read it?
I just want to make sure you have it and it's what I say it is, so that you don't worry that there's any trick.
Take your time and review the document.
Okay. But to make sure of what it is, or do you want me to actually read it?
Read the document. We're still on the record?
We can go off the record briefly.
I don't want to go off the record. If you
All right.
wanted to read it,
Did you just ask if we were still on the record?
I just was wondering, and he said yes.
May the record reflect that the petitioner is consulting with her counsel.
Am I right on this?
No.
For the record, Mr. Harder, we will likely not finish today and have to come back.
You're going to finish today.
So,
We're
if she
done.
wants to
We're
read
done
out-
today. Fine, you go ahead and say what you want, but we're done today.
Well, if we don't get 7 hours,
If we,
You're getting it.
we'll see.
may I finish? We will likely not be finished today, so if you'd like the opportunity to read this document at home while we're on intermission, I'd be happy to have you do that, and I can come back to that. Would you
And our-
like to do that?
No, our response is, we're going to be done today. I don't care if it's midnight that we finish, but you get 7 hours and it's going to be done today and no one's coming back.
So we have court order.
Let the record reflect that petitioner and her attorney, Mr. Harder, are whispering and conversing. Did you have an opportunity to review Exhibit H?
She's only on page 3. There
Why
are
don't
more
I,
pages.
why don't I point you to page 2, I'm sorry, page 10, paragraph P. Do you see that?
She hasn't gotten there yet.
Can you go to paragraph P of page 10?
Sure.
Do you see, Ms. Hurd, paragraph P?
She's not there yet. She's trying to familiarize herself with the document.
Well, she should have done that before she came today.
Well, she's doing it now.
It's okay. Maybe it's a privilege because it was sent to her attorney.
Take your time with this document. Make sure you're comfortable with what this document is, okay?
Okay, I'll move on. Ms. Hurd?
I haven't seen this ever.
Don't say anything. Just let her ask a question.
I need this. Did, that's her declaration in support of her DVR. In your declaration that you filed in support of your request for a restraining order, did you say, do you have it there so that you can refer to it?
That's what this is, right? It's Exhibit K.
Exhibit K. Did you say did you claim in paragraph 7 that after my guests had left, Johnny and I had a discussion about his absence from my birthday celebration, which deteriorated into a bad argument that started with Johnny throwing a magnum-sized bottle of champagne at the wall and a wine glass on me and the floor, both which shattered. Johnny then grabbed me by the shoulders and pushed me onto the bed, blocking the bedroom door. He then grabbed me by the hair and violently shoved me to the floor. Did you say that when you swore under penalty of perjury and signed your name to this document?
Yes.
Okay. And did you say in this same document that Johnny was screaming and threatening me, taunting me to stand up?
Yes, he did that often in fights.
Did he do that? Are you saying he did that on April 21, 2016?
Yes, it's something that had been happening a lot lately.
Did you say in your declaration that after several minutes, Johnny stormed out of the condominium, but not before tossing aside and breaking nearly everything in his path?
Yes. Are you asking me if I said that?
Yes.
Yes.
And is that the truth?
Yes.
Okay. After you say he did this, did you call the police?
No, I did not.
Did you call the police regarding these things you say happened at any time after you say they happened?
Vague and ambiguous. Compound.
Do you understand my question?
Yes.
Okay. Did you call the police? Can you answer my question?
Go ahead.
Oh, okay. Did I call the police on any of the other occasions, or any occasion?
I'm speaking of April 21 when you make these claims.
No, I
When you
didn't.
say these things happened on April 21, at any time after April 21, did you call the police about these things you say happened on April 21?
No, I never called the police on Johnny myself.
Did you ever report to any law enforcement authority other than the police your claims that he did these things on April 21?
No, I attempted as best as I could to hide this and keep our lives as private as possible. And I did what a lot of, I guess, women do, tried to protect him.
Were you attempting to hide this when you filed this declaration on May 27, 2016?
It was unhideable because the cops had been called.
Ms. Hurd, when you claim in your declaration that the argument started with Johnny throwing a magnum-sized bottle of champagne at the wall, do you recall that event?
Yes.
Okay. Did the bottle break?
I don't know if it broke or if there was a bottle on the table next to it that broke and a wine glass next to it that broke, but there was both a wine glass and a bottle. I'm not sure which of the two it was that broke, when the one that was thrown at me but missed, or if it was the one perhaps sitting on the table nearby. But the painting behind it that rests on the wall behind where I was standing still is missing a big chunk out of it. So it made quite an impact.
Are you finished? I want to make sure if you're finished or not.
Yeah.
Okay. Did the bottle you refer to, did it ever touch your body?
No.
Did the wine glass you refer to, in reference to the bottle, ever touch your body?
Pieces of it did. It shattered.
Okay. Where did the pieces you say touched your body touch your body? What part of your body?
I don't remember exactly what part of my body was touched by the glass breaking upon impact. I do know that it touched my body, knees and hands. No, not my hands, my knees anyway. When I went down to the floor, some version of my legs, when I went down to the floor later in the fight, but nothing significant, not like Australia or anything.
Were there any injuries to your body at the places you claim the wine glass touched your body?
No, I don't think so.
Was there
Nothing
any
significant.
indication that you could see on your body that the wine glass shards had touched your body?
No, not that I could see, or nothing that I remember.
At the time the wine glass touched you, as you claim it did, was it intact or was it already broken?
I can't tell because it was, I assume it was shattered upon impact with the magnum-sized bottle of wine that was thrown. I'm assuming that's what shattered it, but at some point there was glass everywhere, and I was standing right next to it.
When you claim it touched your body, where specifically in the apartment were you standing?
I was standing in our bedroom.
Okay. And where did the bottle and glass end up in your bedroom?
Around the bed.
Okay. Did you take at any time after this happened any pictures of this shattered glass and shattered bottle?
I'm not sure if I took pictures on this occasion. Sometimes I did and sometimes I didn't take pictures. I think after I decided to after we got married, I kind of stopped being as, you're in it at that point, and
Are you finished?
yeah.
Listen to the question and
Did
answer
you-
the question.
Did you ever make any effort since that time when you say this bottle shattered and this glass shattered, and you may have taken pictures, but you're not sure if you did, to locate those pictures?
Not that I remember.
Just to
There's
be clear.
been so many pictures I've had to locate. I don't remember specific ones from which specific dates they were taken.
Was
I'm not
there debris from the bottle and glass shattering on your bedroom floor?
Yes.
Okay. And who cleaned that up, if anybody? Did you clean that up?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I can't remember if I had time to clean it up before we left that day.
Okay. Was all of the things you say that were on your bedroom floor as a result of what's this? Okay. As a result of this incident there when Rocky or Raquel Pennington was in your bed?
I imagine so, but I can't be certain.
Okay. Did she help you clean it up or clean it up, to your knowledge?
I don't remember us cleaning up.
Okay. And could you describe what you saw, what was on the floor of your bedroom as you describe it, and where it was
I don't
from this incident?
I don't remember.
Was there anything in addition on the floor, in addition to the broken wine bottle and a broken glass?
Wine. Wine as well, but it might have been dried up by the time I left. I don't really remember what else.
In terms of the broken glass you claim was on your bedroom floor, could you describe specifically where it was on your bedroom floor relative to your bed?
It was around my bed because the paint, and probably by the entrance of the door as well, but I'm not exactly sure.
Okay.
There was a lot of there was a lot of fighting and a lot of movement in several different parts of our room. So when he was holding me down on the bed and I was trying to stand up, that was by the closer to the bathroom, and I know there was broken glass there. When I tried to get out of the bedroom door and he blocked it and shoved me back down to the floor that was by the entrance of the door, and I can't remember what else was breaking or what had been knocked over. I know the lamp broke as well. I didn't mention that. It's still in the storage closet. I just saw it the other day. and it has wine on it. You know, I found it the other day.
Did you take pictures of that at any time?
No, not that I recall.
Did you bring that with you today?
I did not bring that with me. The lamp?
Yes.
No, I did not bring the lamp with me today.
Okay. Were you ever asked to locate any of the items that you say were damaged or broken from April 21?
Privileged. Don't answer.
Did you ever make any attempts to locate any of the items from April 21 that you say were damaged or broken?
No.
Okay. And in fact,
yes, I'm sorry. My phone. I tried to find my phone, but I never recovered it.
and in the DVRO that you filed with the court, did you attach any photographs whatsoever from the events you claim on April 21, 2016?
The court filing would speak for itself.
To your knowledge?
I don't know what we attached off the top of my head.
Okay. Do you know what you gave any other person for the April 21, relating to the April 21 event?
If it has to do with lawyers, it's privilege.
Ms. Hurd, can you tell me exactly what you say happened in the argument you say you had with Johnny on April 21?
What was the question exactly, if you don't mind me asking?
What happened?
She wants to hear you tell what happened.
I was, Johnny and I, when we made it back to our apartment, I was being cold to him. I wasn't being I wasn't being as, open or friendly as I normally am. I was crushed that he missed my birthday, and this is after a month of him not coming home, like on average 5 nights a week, just not showing up, or showing up at like 2, 3, 4 o'clock in the morning, or at like 8 o'clock in the morning. I'd find out that he was passed out at one of the other places in West Hollywood. So it had been building up, and so the birthday incident was heartbreaking. It was my 30th birthday, and I just was sad about it. So he asked me, we got in bed, and I was just being quiet. I think I picked up my book and tried to read, and he said, "What's your fucking problem?" And I said, "I'm just hurt." And I had been seeing this, I've been trying to get us to see a marriage counselor who said that that's how I should word things, as opposed to it being accusatory. And I said, "I'm just hurt that you didn't make it to my birthday party." And then it quickly deteriorated into the normal, "It's my fault. Why do you always blame me for everything? You always blame me for everything." Okay. And then it escalated, and I don't know what I said that immediately preceded it, but the first big action was the wine bottle that I remember being thrown at me, or maybe it was that I was trying to leave. I don't really remember which of the first.
Was that while you were in the bed that the wine bottle was thrown at you?
No, I wasn't. I was standing in the bedroom, in front of this painting, kind of closer to the bathroom. And when I moved to leave, he shoved me at some point, shoved me down on the ground. I stood back up, and he did this taunting thing where I guess it was to challenge me to see if I was really going to leave. "You think you're really going to be the one to leave? You really think you're that tough, huh? Tough guy, tough guy." And then shoved me down again. I stand back up, and again, "You think you're so tough?" And eventually I did make it out of the bedroom, and I don't know if I was walking back from where my clothes are with an overnight bag, and I have to pass through the office because of the adjoining apartments. But in my passing him, he grabs my hair at some point. We're arguing kind of in passing as I'm walking through the office, and as I make it around the edge of the desk, it's either a shove to initiate or something with my head, push or something, and it turns into him grabbing me by the back of my hair, and I said some, comment to him. I don't remember what it was, and walked into the bedroom, grabbed my toothbrush, things like that I don't keep in my closet room. And in doing that, we had more of a fight. It was pushing. I put my hands up like this once.
Let the record reflect the witness is raising her hands above her head.
You're interrupting her. She's being videotaped. Don't interrupt her, please. She's telling her story. Go ahead.
Yeah, I don't know. I put my hands up, and he did this, pushed them down, and squared off to me, bumped his chest into mine. I kind of like fell back a little bit onto the bed. I stood back up, and tried to walk past him to the door. At some point, I end up on the floor. He walks out. I tried to actually, even at that point, say, don't walk out, like, maybe we just need to talk about it, can we just take a break? And then just talk, because it's my birthday, and I don't want to wake up on my birthday. We've had a million of these fights. It's just don't, I just don't want to wake up on my birthday by myself. Don't. Go, please, even though it had gotten violent. This is nothing compared to so many of the other things. It actually wouldn't even be a major thing if it weren't one of the just most recent. This is not a bad thing. I mean, it wasn't bad in my head in relation to what we have lived through.
Say what happened.
Sorry. It escalates. I tried to get him to stop that in that moment, and he broke a bunch of shit in the kitchen. I think he wrote on the countertop. I think that's one of the times he wrote on the countertop in Sharpie some crazy message to me, and I went upstairs. I heard him kind of coming in and out, and then when I walked downstairs, it was quiet for a really long time. When I walked back downstairs, it was just a note on the floor that said, happy fucking birthday.
Was there any other debris on the floor downstairs other than on the countertops in the kitchen?
I don't remember. I know he smashed. He's knocked over lamps and a statue thing and paintings and he's gotten really into. He'd been punching photographs with me in them recently, and this was one of those times. But nothing that nothing downstairs specifically that I remember at this moment.
Okay, and did I hear you say you had tried to convince Johnny to stay to talk about it?
At some point in the argument, yeah.
Okay. And were you successful in getting him to stay?
No, just long enough to have it explode.
And at any
moments.
And at any time during this physical altercation you say you were having with Johnny, at any time did you push him?
Oh, and this is when the cell phones were thrown out. That's what initiated. That was the first move. Earlier I said to you, I can't remember what the first move was. That was what it was, and that was the first move.
So when you say that, you mean the way the argument actually started was that Johnny threw your cell phone out and you threw his cell phone out?
Yeah, but that's not how the argument started. The argument started from our discussion about him missing my birthday and being late or missing things a lot lately, and how important it was for me that he just simply show up,
And it would be fair to say you were very upset about that?
I was not upset, I was hurt.
And you expressed that to him?
Yes, I said I'm really hurt. I was trying to use language that I thought was different and not confrontational, and that he would swallow better, knowing that he was not in a great state and that he
was drinking a lot, and so I was being very delicate, as you have to be when he's drinking.
And you did not include anything about the throwing of the cell phones out the window and the smashing of the cell phones in your declaration asking for a restraining order, correct?
Declaration speaks for itself.
Is that correct?
Yeah, I think the declaration's full of plenty of facts. Pardon?
After Mr. Depp left, do you have any idea what time you believe he left?
I really don't recall what time it was.
Did you have any injuries whatsoever from this incident, this argument you say occurred?
Vague and ambiguous.
Physical injuries?
I don't think so. And nothing significant.
Did you seek any medical care of any kind related to this fight you described with Mr. Depp?
On this particular occasion?
April 21.
No.
Did you, at any time during the altercation with Mr. Depp that you describe in paragraph 7 of your declaration, did you hit or strike Mr. Depp in any way?
When he was hitting me when I was outside of the bed, I know I was trying to put my hands up in defense of myself. I don't know if I don't know if I landed anything on him. I was trying to defend myself. He's much bigger than me.
At any time during the April 21 incident, did you scratch Mr. Depp?
I have no idea. If I don't have any idea in my acts to defend myself if I had caused him any injury. I don't think so, but I don't know.
After Mr. Depp left on early morning hours of April 22nd, you went to sleep, correct?
Yes.
And after you woke up, you packed for Coachella, is that correct?
Yes.
And Coachella is a music festival you had planned to go to with your friends, correct?
Yes.
And those friends included Raquel Pennington,
Yes.
Mel Iglesias,
Melanie.
Melanie Iglesias,
Yes.
Amanda de Cadenet,
No, she did not go.
Whitney,
Yes.
that's your sister, Io Tillett Wright, anyone else?
Savannah McMillan.
Savannah McMillan, anyone else?
A friend named Rami Sarabi met us there, or he was already there and met us there. But he, yeah.
And you had a driver, someone who worked for Johnny? And you?
I drove myself with Raquel and my sister, I believe. I think my sister came with us, yeah. And then Starling met us there.
Starling drove from your Broadway apartment to Coachella and met you there?
I don't know where he left from, but he did meet us there.
Did he have any luggage that you had provided to him?
I'm not sure if we put the luggage in my car, his car.
Do you have any idea why Starling Jenkins was with you on this trip?
As a security guard.
Did you require security?
Johnny felt I did.
Did you feel like you required security from Johnny on this trip?
No, not particularly.
Did you ever make any attempt to ask Johnny to actually come to Coachella during the time you were away?
I didn't have a cell phone. I did use my iPad for texting, but I tried to kind of put it down. I was in a very bad headspace. It was really sad.
Was that yes, you did, or no, you didn't try to get Johnny to come to Coachella when you were there from April 22nd to whenever you returned to Los Angeles?
We did not have direct communication, no.
Did you have indirect communication encouraging him to come?
I don't know if my sister encouraged him to come. My sister was in communication with him, and I do not know the nature of their text messages. I know it was encouraging for communication. I don't know if she said, I don't know what she said to him.
Did you share during the trip or prior with your sister Whitney anything about the incident that occurred on April 21 or April 22?
I can't,
with Johnny.
I can't recall to what detail I told her. We fought. She knew we fought. Everybody knew we were fighting, but I don't know to what extent I spoke about it.
Did you ever make any efforts to tell your sister to rescind the invitation to Johnny?
Not that I recall.
Okay. Did you, during your trip, you left your Broadway residence on April 22? When did you return to Los Angeles? How many days later?
I believe the following Monday. I believe.
So you were gone a little over a week?
No, I'm sorry. We were just gone for the weekend.
Okay.
So I believe the 22nd was Saturday. If anyone has a calendar, it might be helpful. I don't have one.
If April 22nd was Friday.
So then we would have come back, I think, on Monday.
Okay. So that would be April 25, 2016?
Does this help you?
Yeah, it helps to see.
What is the next exhibit?
It was the 24th or 25th, I think.
Yeah. Showing you what will be marked as Exhibit N. Is this a picture of you while you were on your trip with your friends in Coachella?
Yeah, I haven't seen this picture. Yeah.
Okay. And am I correct, you're smiling in that picture?
Yes, I'm
Okay.
smiling in that picture.
Okay. During the time you were away in Coachella on your trip, did you use at any time any illegal drugs?
I'm going to object on grounds of privacy.
Okay.
Any other grounds you'd like to raise at this time? Are you instructing your client not to answer the question?
Irrelevance? Yeah, I will. Irrelevance, privacy.
At any time while you were on this trip, did you drink alcohol?
I can answer that, right?
Sure.
I had a glass of wine at the hotel. I did not drink at the festival. It's gross, kind of gross wine.
Is it your testimony here today that between the time you left Los Angeles and returned to Los Angeles to go to the Coachella Festival, you had one glass of wine, as you say, at the hotel?
Oh, I'm sorry. I don't know how many glasses of wine I had at the hotel. I don't want to commit to one number. I don't really remember how many.
Ms. Hurd, at any time while you were in Coachella, did you ever throw up or regurgitate in a parking lot?
No, I did not.
Did you ever regurgitate or throw up at any other location?
I'm gonna object. I mean, it's irrelevant and it's privacy, and I just don't see the point.
Showing you what will be marked as a respondents, huh? N.
No, we just marked in.
No, M. M as in Mary was, no?
Mary marked N.
Okay,
That
okay.
last one I thought you said N.
Okay, so it's O?
O.
Okay. So showing you what will be marked as respondents O. Do you recognize who's in that picture?
Take your time.
What do you ask?
Listen for the question.
Okay.
Do you recognize that picture?
No, I've never seen this picture before.
Okay. Do you recognize what that picture reflects? Any of the people that picture reflects? Who are those people?
That's my sister and my best friend.
Okay. And were they in the car with you driving to Coachella on May 22nd?
On April?
I'm sorry, April 22nd?
Yes.
Okay. And Am I correct that you did not physically see Johnny Hurd between April 20?
Johnny Hurd?
I'm sorry, Johnny Depp between April 22nd and May 21.
I'm so sorry. Are you asking me if I did not see him?
Did you at any time see Johnny Depp in person between April 22nd and May 21?
I do not think so, no.
Okay. At any time between April 22nd and May 21, did you text Johnny Depp?
But before May 21st?
Correct.
Yes, we started texting. I think the first time we spoke was when I was on my way to Italy for work. We had a phone conversation on the way to the airport. So this was almost a month in, so it would have been right before the 21st. I'd have to look at a calendar, so it would have been right around 3.5 or 3.5. May I? Maybe I'll recognize. Let's see, to May 21st. That's a Saturday. So I think it would have been, like I said before, 3.5. If I guess, about 3 to 3.5 weeks of no communication, and then we started communicating while I was in Italy, and he was also in Europe on tour.
And were you utilizing a telephone to communicate with him?
I'm not sure. Yes.
You bought a new phone after April 22nd?
Yeah. Mm-hmm,
And were you utilizing the same phone number?
No, not that I have now. I have had to change my number a few times.
What was the number you were utilizing at the time you texted Johnny Depp between April 22 and May 21?
We started communicating on my old, it would have been my old phone number that I had for a long time. I would add the same number still. I think it would be number, I think, would have been.
Okay. At any time since you filed your DVRO declaration or before, have you made any attempt to locate those communications where you would have texted or been texted Johnny Depp or received text from Johnny Depp between April 22 and May 21?
I think that's been asked and answered. It's also vague and ambiguous.
I don't know.
At any time did you try to find those texts that you were referring to as communications with Mr. Depp?
I don't know if I have. I don't.
When was the next time you saw Johnny Depp after he left your bedroom and apartment on April 22?
I didn't see him again until until May 21st.
Okay. And that was the day after his mother had died?
I don't know when his mother died. I was not in communication with him other than a few text messages prior where he was asking me to be there. And I was saying, I'm here, let me know what the progress is. But so we had very limited communications, and then he stopped talking to me for a few days. So it happened within, I guess, in the window surrounding May 21st, somewhere around there. I don't know when.
Did you communicate in any way in the week prior to Johnny's mother's death with Johnny about the health or condition of his mother?
Yes, although I'm unsure as to the exact date when she died, but I can tell you that when he came over on May 21st, his mother had passed, hence why he came over. And for the week prior to that, we spoke. We texted in a very limited fashion about his mom being sick.
And how, and at the time he arrived at the apartment on May 21, is it your testimony that you were in fact aware that his mother had died?
Yes,
Okay. And how had you learned that?
my parents.
Okay. And how did they communicate that to you?
On the phone or on via text. I'm not sure which one.
And was that on May 20th or May 21?
I don't know.
Okay. And when you filed your declaration in this case, and you described what happened, did you say that at the time, referring to May 21, at the time of Johnny's arrival, my friend Elizabeth Mars was present, along with my friend Raquel Rose Pennington and her fiance Joshua Drew, who live in the adjacent apartment?
Is that in the declaration? What's the page and line number?
Ms. Hurd, would you like me to provide you the page and line number? I'm happy to.
Please.
You should follow.
Yes, page 2 of your declaration, paragraph 9, line 17 begins the paragraph.
If you read it and then listen for the question.
What's your question, please?
Did you put that in your declaration that you filed asking for a domestic violence restraining order?
Yes, it is in my declaration.
Did you put in your declaration, paragraph 10, that when Johnny arrived at first, we were having a peaceful conversation in our living room talking about his mother's passing?
Yes.
Did you put in your declaration that I tried to comfort him while we sat on the couch?
Yes.
Did you put in your declaration that Johnny, he began obsessing about something that was untrue?
Yes.
Did you put in your declaration that you tried to calm Johnny down by calling one of his trusted employees?
I first said that he became obsessing about this thing that was untrue, and his demeanor changed dramatically, and he became very angry.
Okay.
Then, in order to try to calm him down, I tried to call one of his close employees.
Did you put the words I described in the declaration you filed?
What do you mean by that?
Did you give the words to somebody that are in this document that was filed with the court?
Privilege.
Objection, Attorney.
Privilege. Don't answer.
Are these words that you see in the declaration before you?
Are those words?
The words I've
like words to me.
described.
It's vague and ambiguous. It's unintelligible. The document speaks for itself. You're reading from it.
Mr. Hurd, I'm asking you to confirm if you say in your declaration that these things are true. I am asking you if those things are in fact stated in your declaration.
The declaration speaks for itself.
Those words are all in front of me.
Thank you. Are you aware that Elizabeth Mars has testified under oath that she was not there at the time of Johnny's arrival?
Calls for speculation.
She's in the.
If you learn anything from counsel, you can't answer. If you learned it from some other fashion, then you can.
But Elizabeth was there. She was just in the connecting apartment. She was in what Elizabeth probably meant and probably did not clarify.
Just say-
She was in the apartment that connects. They're all connecting.
Tell her.
I'm trying to.
So
She was in the connecting apartment. All the apartments connect, and normally those doors are left open. And it is we call it the compound, and it's treated as one big space. That's why we have keys to one another's apartments, and they all connect. And Elizabeth Mars and Josh and Rocky were all there. By there, they were in their respective places, not on my lap or on the couch or in the room next door to us. But they were there.
We've been going an hour and 10 minutes. Can we
So
please take
when
a
you-
break? It's been an hour and 10
Sure.
minutes. Okay. We're going to take, what, 5 to 10?
The time was
Can we ask to go
approximately-
off the record?
The time was approximately 4:28 p.m. We're going off the record. The time is approximately 4:39 p.m. and we're back on the record.
Ms. Hurd, you claimed in your declaration that when Johnny arrived, your friend Elizabeth was there, correct? Was present, you said. Okay.
Yes.
Do you remember where you were when Johnny arrived?
On May 21st?
Correct.
Yes, I was in the living room.
Is that the living room of Penthouse 3?
Yes, living room of Penthouse
Okay.
3.
When Johnny arrived, did he come in the door of Penthouse 3?
Yes.
Okay. And isn't it correct, Ms. Hurt, that Elizabeth Mars was in fact not with you in Penthouse 3 at that time?
She was present, she was just not in the room.
Okay. Was she in Penthouse 3 at that time?
I'm not quite sure because all the penthouses connect.
Isn't it true, Ms. Hurd, that at the time Johnny's arrival, you could not see Elizabeth Mars at all?
True.
Okay. Isn't it true at the time Johnny arrived, you could not see your friend Raquel Pennington at all?
True.
Isn't it true, Ms. Hurd, that at the time Johnny arrived, you could not see your Raquel's fiance Josh Drew at all?
True.
Who owns the apartment in which you refer as an adjacent apartment where Raquel and Joshua live?
My ex-husband, Johnny.
He lives in that apartment?
Oh, I thought you asked me who owned it.
Okay, who owns that apartment?
My ex, Johnny Depp.
Okay. And at the time on May 21, 2016, were Raquel Pennington and Joshua Drew living in the apartment that Johnny owns?
Yes, they were.
Okay. Were they paying any rent?
Not that I know of.
How long had they lived there?
I'm not sure.
Had they lived there prior to you living there?
Yes.
How long had they lived there prior to you living there?
I'm not quite sure. I don't remember.
Okay. And to your knowledge, did they ever pay rent during the entire time they've lived in Mr. Depp's apartment?
Calls for speculation.
If you know.
I don't know. That was an arrangement between them. Between Johnny, who invited them, and them, who accepted.
Okay. When you claim that when Johnny arrived, you were having at first a peaceful conversation about his mother's death, correct?
Yes.
And then you tried to comfort him as you sat on the couch, and that would be in Penthouse 3?
Yes.
And then suddenly he began obsessing about something that was untrue.
Yes.
Isn't it true what he was obsessing about, but what you do not say here is the feces that had been found in his bed after you left on April 22nd?
Can you clarify that question, please?
Yes. When you were referring to him obsessing at that time about something that was untrue, isn't it correct that what he was obsessing about, this thing you were referring to, is that he was informed that feces had been found in his bed after you left on April 22nd?
No.
What was he obsessing about that was untrue, as you say in this declaration?
Johnny was obsessing about the fact that he believed, as he put it, my friends, with my knowledge and support, intentionally left that feces in the bed that I sleep in when we fight, and in the apartment where I stay under these circumstances, the bed that would have been cleaned immediately after and long before he would have ever returned. And we had done so on the morning of my 30th birthday as a big joke, like a bunch of 30-year-old women do.
So am I correct that he was obsessing about things related to the feces that had been left in the bed?
What's untrue is, and what I assumed at the time was delusional, was that he thought it was human feces. And because I knew that to be impossible for what I could
for a number of reasons.
How did you know it was impossible if you didn't know about the feces?
Because he had told me about it on the phone a month prior, and I assumed it was a delusion that was going to pass and go away, like some of these delusions when he's high do. And then when he brought it back up, instead of talking about his mother's death, I worried that it was a little bit more serious and that his mental condition had deteriorated. And I knew it was not human because the only people in bed were myself and Raquel. And if Raquel and I were the only humans in that bed in that morning, then I could only deduce that it was what it normally is. Which is our dog Boo. I wasn't done, sorry. That it was our dog Boo, and it seemed so unbelievable, disgusting, outrageous, and incredible that it stuck for the entire month in his head. I became worried.
Isn't it true that when you after you say you had comforted Johnny about the death of his mother, and you claim in your declaration that he began obsessing about something that was untrue, you knew exactly he was referring to the feces, correct?
Argumentative.
You knew he was referring to the feces, correct?
Yes, that's exactly what it was.
And isn't it true at that time, Ms. Hurd, that the human feces in the bed is the reason Johnny told you at that time that he wanted a divorce from you?
Objection. It misstates the testimony. It assumes facts, not in evidence. You keep calling it human feces.
Isn't it true, Ms. Hurd, that at the time you were discussing this feces with Johnny, you had already spoken to Hilda Vargas at his other home?
No.
You did not speak to Hilda Vargas before May 21, 2016 about feces?
No. I spoke to her after I filed for divorce.
Your testimony...
Or around that time, and this was before then.
Is your testimony here today that you spoke with Hilda Vargas in this conversation we discussed about the feces at the Sweetser house after the time you filed for divorce or before?
It was right around that time, like within a day or two.
Would it be fair to say that under any circumstances it was after May 21 you now claim you spoke with Hilda Vargas?
What do you mean I now claim?
Well, you are claiming here today. You are claiming here today.
Argumentative. Just ask your questions and please don't be argumentative.
Is it your testimony that you spoke to Hilda Vargas about your marriage and the feces after May 21, 2016?
I believe so.
Isn't it true, Ms. Hurd, that while you were sitting on the couch discussing the feces with Mr. Depp, that in fact you demanded and got Kevin Murphy on the phone?
Are you asking me if it's true if I demanded?
No. Did you speak to Kevin Murphy in and around your conversation with Johnny Depp on the couch at that time?
In an attempt to assuage his delusion, I thought a sane voice might be able to shine some light on what I thought was a crazy delusion and something that could have been easily rationalized by a sane voice.
Okay. You finished?
Yes, I am.
Okay. Ms. Hurd, isn't it the truth that at the time you got Kevin Murphy, you spoke to Kevin Murphy on the phone while you were sitting there with Johnny, you had previously told Kevin Murphy that you did know about the feces and it had been a, quote, harmless prank, end quote?
Absolutely not. That's not true.
Have you ever at any time since April 21 referred to this feces being on your bed as a prank?
Never.
To any other person, Mr. Murphy or any other individual?
Never.
Okay. And Ms. Hurd, isn't it true that as you got Kevin Murphy on the phone, you specifically discussed the feces, correct?
As I stated before, I was trying to assuage Johnny's, what I could only imagine was a delusion, because he knows very well that Boo does this a lot. So I thought Kevin would be able to put this delusion to rest and we could move on.
Okay. Was Kevin Murphy the first other person you spoke to after this conversation turned to feces?
Vague and ambiguous.
Other than Johnny Depp?
Was he the first person I spoke to after speaking to Johnny about this?
Yes.
Feces. I believe he was the first call.
And did you call him or did Johnny call him?
I can't remember.
Okay.
I
Did
can't remember.
you use your phone?
I can't
to call
remember.
him? Did you ever look for any indication that you had used your phone on your phone?
No.
Okay. And is it true that you claim in your declaration that it was at this time that you began to have concerns for your safety and sent a text to your friend Raquel, who was at the condominium next door?
Vague and ambiguous.
Yes. I started, that's when the conversation started to become, when he started to show signs of rage and mania, and I started to recognize the emergence of a problem. And Raquel had been worried about me. Before I walked in there, I saw her and Elizabeth and Josh, and they said, please keep us updated. They were very worried for my safety, knowing how physical and dangerous things
Ms.
could become.
Hurd, excuse me,
You
I'm going to have
interrupted
to
her.
object as non-responsive and move to strike.
I'm
Ms.
just-
Hurd,
I'm
I'm
just
going to
gonna-
ask you.
excuse me.
No, I'm sorry,
No,
Mr. Harder.
no.
We have a very limited time, and I've indulged you, but
No,
you
I'm
have
sorry.
repeatedly.
One at a time, guys.
Sure, you've repeatedly obstructed these proceedings.
That's not true.
With inappropriate and improper speaking objections.
Not true.
And objections that are not appropriate for deposition
Not true.
proceedings.
Not true.
And I would like to proceed and not be obstructed, so I'm going to continue asking
You
questions.
keep giving your speeches,
Ms.
and
Hurd?
I'm going to give one
Ms.
sentence,
Hurd?
which is,
At the time that,
she was interrupted in her answer, and your motion to strike is improper. Go
have you
ahead.
completed your answer?
Well, she doesn't remember what it is now.
That's
with all that
absolutely true.
arguing that you had to do.
Do you believe you were interrupted with your answer?
I do.
Okay. I'm going to ask you one more time, okay? When you claimed that you began to have concerns for your safety, was Kevin Murphy still on the phone?
Vague.
No.
So you didn't have any concerns for your safety when you were talking to Kevin Murphy, correct?
Argumentative and vague.
I don't know. I don't know.
Isn't it true when you were on the phone with you and Johnny, with you and Kevin Murphy and Johnny, that you told Kevin that it was a harmless prank?
Asked and answered.
Absolutely not.
Okay. Isn't it true that you, in fact, during that conversation with Kevin Murphy, with Johnny there, screamed in a raised voice at Kevin Murphy that he was a liar?
That's absolutely not true.
You never called Kevin Murphy a liar during that conversation.
Absolutely not true. I texted Kevin after and I said, do you realize how complicated that answer you gave and how unclear it was? Why would you convey an untruth like that? Why would you say that? What have I ever done to you to make you say this? Is there something I'm missing here?
Okay.
But that was a text message, and I never accused.
Did you
She
save,
didn't ask about a text.
Sorry.
Did you save that text?
I did not erase it.
You did not erase it?
I did not erase
Okay.
it.
When did you send that text?
Right after the conversation.
Okay. And you still have that text?
I'm sure I do.
Okay. Could you do us a favor and provide that text?
Sure.
Okay. And have you ever tried to locate that text before today?
No.
Did you ever believe that you were supposed to locate any texts between you and Kevin Murphy
No, I
relating to this, what you described about your communication with him?
No.
Okay. You then continue on your declaration and claim that as Johnny continued to rant in an aggressive manner, he then demanded we call I.O. Tillett. Do you know who that is?
Yes.
Is that true?
Yes.
And he wanted to do that to prove that you had left feces in his bed, correct?
Vague and ambiguous. Calls for speculation.
You wanted to call Io Tillett to prove, he wanted you to call Io Tillett to prove that you had left, in fact, feces in his bed.
Vague and ambiguous, argumentative. You keep asking the same thing over and over about feces, and it's been answered like 20 times now.
Are you going to answer my question?
Be sure you understand what the question is.
The question, you're asking me if the call to Io was intended to clarify or to talk about the dog shit and the dog feces in the bed.
Okay.
Right?
Did you
Just wait for the next question.
say in your declaration that as Johnny continued to rant in an aggressive and incoherent manner, he then demanded we call our friend Io Tillett Wright to prove his paranoid and irrational accusations about some delusional idea he was having?
Document speaks for itself.
Did you say that in your declaration?
It's in my declaration. Yes.
Is it the truth?
Yes.
Okay. So you did call Io Tillett to discuss the claim that you had left feces in Johnny's bed, correct?
The way you just worded that is to insinuate that we were calling to prove that we had left.
Well, the declaration says that, which is why I said
No, it
that.
says about some delusional idea. It does not say.
Are you? Is it your testimony here today? Please let the record reflect that the witness is smiling. That
She's not.
I'm
What are you
not
talking
smiling.
is it
about?
your testimony here today that when Johnny demanded you call Io Tillett Wright on the evening where you were sitting with him and May 21, 2016, that he was asking you to call Io Tillett for some other reason than to discuss the feces left in the bed?
Vague and unintelligible.
Do you understand?
At the time, Johnny was convinced that it was Io that had left human feces in the bed. And he was sure that Io was there at the house that morning because he thought she was there the day before at my birthday party, neither of which are true. He had a delusion that she was there, and she was never there. She was never there that morning. She was not there the night before my birthday party. So to clarify, we called her. She was in fact in New York.
About the feces?
Yes, so I thought
I'll move on. Ms. Hurd, you said in your declaration that when you began having concerns for your safety, you said that he began to break things in the apartment.
yes.
Is that true?
Sorry, can you repeat that?
Yes. You say in your declaration that after you demanded you called Io, he started to grab things and break things in the apartment. Is that true?
Which line?
Okay, we can go line by line if you like.
It's easier.
Did you call Io Tillett Wright at that time?
Yes, we called someone else first. We called Savannah first because he also thought she was there.
Did you speak to Savannah?
No,
Okay. Did you place the call to Io or did Johnny?
I can't remember.
Okay. And prior.
I'm sorry. I believe it was me placing the call. I believe it was me placing the call.
Okay. Prior to you placing that call to Io Tillett Wright, had Johnny broken anything in the living area where you were in Penthouse 3
Vague as to time.
on May 21, 2016 to that moment?
Vague.
Can you answer the question?
Are you asking me if he broke anything on that date?
Where you were in that room?
At what point?
Any time since he arrived that night?
Vague as to time.
Up until. What? I'm sorry. Can you
Ms.
repeat the
Hurd,
question?
when you were calling Io Wright, do you claim that Johnny had broken a single thing in or around your apartment that you were aware of?
Before calling Io?
Correct.
I don't know. I don't think so.
Was there any wine spilled anywhere that you were aware of prior to calling Io Wright?
Not that I'm aware of.
Was there
But
any
he did walk in holding a Magnum bottle, and it was opened. So I don't know if something spilled.
Was there any broken glass of any kind prior to calling Io Wright?
Calls for speculation.
To your knowledge, that you saw?
I can't remember.
During the call with Io Wright, please tell us exactly what happened.
She picked up the phone, and I said, hey, babe, just for clarity, I'm here with Johnny. He's upset about some things. Can you just clarify and we can put some things to bed? She said, what? And I said, were you over here on the morning of my birthday? And she said, why are you asking me that? And of course I wasn't. I met you in Palm Springs. And I said, I'm here with Johnny, and he's upset about something, and I just want to put it to bed. And she said, no, I don't know if she got much more out because he started screaming, grabbed the phone out of my hand. She was on speakerphone, and he started yelling at her.
Were you holding the phone prior to the phone that you were speaking to Io Tillett on?
Yeah.
Okay. And you claim that he then grabbed the phone from you?
He grabbed the phone from me, and then before he went upstairs, presumably to pack a bag or get some of his things, as he indicated to me, he tossed it tossed it in my direction or something, on the table, on the couch. I can't remember which. Picked it up, and I said, oh my God, Io. I can't remember if the call disconnected and it was two separate calls or if it was one call, but I remember saying to Io, oh my God, I'm so sorry. I did not call you to get screamed at, because she answered the phone, the poor thing, without any real expectation, just started being screamed at by Johnny in this way. And I didn't want to make it seem like I called her for a setup to just be yelled at. And he was saying, you dyke bitch, your 10-cent words and your fucking book deal and your fucking sell out my family, just the worst things that you can, expletives and very personal things to her situation. And he started to go upstairs, and I had the phone in my hand again, and I'm on speakerphone, and he makes it partway up the stairs, and she says, it does not sound safe. Get out before it gets worse this time. Get out of there. Get out. It's not safe. And all of my friends who are informed of our history are very, 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 very scared of me being alone in a room with him when there are things wrong, or when we're fighting, when we're working things out, and when he's using. So she was very clear and on speakerphone saying, get out of the house. It's not safe. It doesn't sound safe. Get out. And he heard it, and it was it was like he turned around, bolted back down the stairs, grabbed the phone, and started screaming at her, even louder this time and even worse this time, and really lit into her. And I'm sitting on the couch. I haven't even gotten up off the couch. My legs are cross-legged, and he says, you want her so much, you dyke bitch, you want to be her man now, you want to be a man to her now, you can fucking have her. And he winds up his hand, he winds his arm back, and he throws the phone at me, and it hits me, bam, right in what felt like the eye, and it just felt like this pop, or what I thought was a pop, and It just felt I put my head in my hands, and when I had my head covered, I didn't know what he was doing or where it was going, but I had my head down and I was saying, I think I was crying, and I said, "You've hit me." And I could hear him yelling and knocking things over, and I wanted him to know that that he had hurt me, because sometimes he wouldn't remember these incidences. And so I remember I said, "Johnny, it hit me in the eye, and I don't know if it felt like it just felt like my eye, or it could have been my eye, and I didn't know,
Okay, before we get to the injuries, let me just ask you about what you say happened with Miss Tillett Wright.
Sure.
Was she on the phone during all of this?
Yes, but at the time I wasn't sure, because the phone, after it impacted my face, fell on the ground.
Okay. Isn't it true that, Ms. Hurd, you yelled to Tillett Wright to call 911?
I don't remember yelling that. I'm sure. I'm sure I yelled, "Help, help." I don't know. It was traumatic.
Isn't it the truth, Ms. Hurd, that you swore in your declaration at line 11, page 3, that I then yelled out, quote, "Call 911," end quote?
Yeah. Then I said that. This was taken immediately after, and it's been a while.
Okay, so you did yell for Tillett Wright to call 911,
Yeah.
correct?
Yeah.
Okay, but didn't you testify earlier that you had kept these abuse allegations secret?
Not from everybody.
Okay.
There
so,
was, like I said earlier to you, my select group was starting to become more and more informed of it as time went on. So at the very beginning, I would only tell my mom, somebody who understands this sort of situation.
So your mom, you told her that you've been physically abused by Johnny Depp?
Yeah, I would tell her from the almost at the very beginning. I confided in her. That's why I have pictures. Yeah.
Okay. So from the very beginning to this incident, May 21, you had confided in your mom?
Yeah, I think I probably hit the first few incidences, but very, very soon into it, I started to tell.
Okay. And you confided in other people, including your friends, correct?
Therapists until it became problematic.
Okay. When you confided in your therapist, when did you confide in your therapist that you've been a victim of domestic violence?
I'm just going to object on grounds of the therapist privilege.
She's just told us what she told her therapist. Therefore, under the law, she's waived any claim as to privilege for me asking her about what she told her
Well,
therapist.
that may have been inadvertent. I'm asserting it right now. If I didn't catch it the first time, it was probably quick, and I apologize.
Ms. Hurd, when did you have this conversation with your therapist about these events? We don't have to get into the specifics of what you told her or him. When did you have the conversation with your therapist last about these events?
Privileged, don't answer.
I'm asking you for the date or the month.
I don't mind if you ask on what day and month you had a therapist and spoke to a therapist, but when you add in these events, now you're getting into the privilege. So you just need to narrow it down a little bit.
When was the last time prior to May 21 you'd spoken to a therapist?
I don't remember exactly.
Did you have a regular therapist?
We had a couples counselor, or a couples counselor. And I saw someone for about a year by myself as an individual. And then we attempted to have a couples therapist prior to that, but it didn't stick. And then I saw someone on my own at the beginning of Johnny and I's relationship.
Okay. At the point that you were on the phone still with Io Tillett Wright, was Raquel Pennington ever in Penthouse 5 with you while Io was still on the phone?
I cannot be certain when Io hung up the phone because I was not speaking to Io. after the phone was taken from me.
You cannot be certain?
I cannot be certain.
Do you want to read back the answer because you were talking to your colleague
Do
and
you
she gave an
remember,
answer?
Ms. Hurd, whether Raquel Pennington was in the apartment with you in Penthouse 5 at any time while you were still on the phone with Io Tillett-Wright?
I was no longer on the phone with Io Tillett-Wright from the moment he revoked the phone from my hand and threw it at my face.
Okay. And from the moment you say in your testimony that Johnny went upstairs,
Started to go upstairs,
and then came back downstairs, the next incident that happened was his physical incident that happened was his throwing a phone, you claim.
Yeah.
Okay. Where do you claim he was when he threw this phone?
By the stairs, by the bottom of the stairs.
And you were on the couch still?
Yes.
Okay. You were sitting on the couch?
I was sitting cross-legged on the couch.
And the distance between the bottom of the stairs and the couch is what?
Probably, if I had to measure it in steps, 5 paces from, if I am here, maybe it's easier to do it this way because that's how the room is laid out. I'd say it was from here to the corner of the wall over your right shoulder.
And when you say he threw the phone, was
Maybe
he facing you or facing away from you?
He was facing me.
And your testimony is today that he threw the phone at you, correct?
Asked and answered.
Yes?
Yeah.
Prior to his throwing the phone at you, was there any other incident of violence that occurred?
Objection, vague and ambiguous.
Had Johnny Depp touched you in any way prior to his throwing the phone?
Wait, vague is, you
On
mean
May
on that
21,
day? Okay.
2016. Was that the first?
He just grabbed the phone out of my hand for the first time, but
Okay.
it didn't hurt me.
Okay. And was there any other act of violence against you prior to when he went upstairs, came back downstairs, and threw the phone?
I don't know if you'd count screaming at me,
Okay.
but no.
Other than
Physical.
Okay. Other than screaming, had he broken anything in the apartment yet on the floor?
I'm not sure.
You're not sure?
I'm not sure.
Okay. Had he thrown any bottles prior to you're saying he threw this phone?
I'm not sure. I can't remember now. I'm not sure what he did prior to throwing the phone at me.
Okay. Was there any broken glass on the floor where you were prior to his throwing the phone at you?
Was there any broken glass on the floor around?
Anywhere on the floor of the room you both were in prior to when he threw the phone at you that you were aware of?
At this moment, I don't remember there being any.
Okay, okay. And after you say he threw the phone at you, what happened next?
All I remember is him screaming these expletives at my friend Io and telling her that she could have me now, and then he threw his arm back and he threw the phone, what appeared to be as hard as he could at my face. Put my head down. I said, "You hit me." I was crying. I said, "Johnny, you hit me," because then I start hearing things being smashed, and I said to him, "Honey, you hit me in the eye, my eye," and I start crying, and he approaches me, and I don't know if he